No, it will be a very short exercise. Just to say, first of all, Paul, happy 10th birthday to the Cpdp, of course. An esteemed New York Times journalist, Thomas Friedman, has just published a book about the speed of technological change. And the title is "Thank You for Being Late." You know how Italians are committed to timely be present. So I'm quoting this book since the book says that 2007 was one of the biggest moments for technology. Android and iPhone were launched, Twitter and Facebook went global, and BNB was founded. So you see, Cpdp anticipated this by 1 year. And its short life has charted perhaps the most extraordinary decade for society, technology, privacy, and data protection. So once again, my sincere congratulations and thanks to Paul and to all your team who have put this together. This is 2017, the biggest ever Cpdp, 1,020 participants. Chapeau. Many young people, and also a new beautiful fringe venue in Maison d'Autriche for discussing risk-based approaches, data capitalism, reflections on integrity, sponsoring. And here in the main building, rooms have been full from 8:45 in the morning till 6 o'clock, yesterday evening till 8 o'clock, with side panels on voter privacy, ethics, robot agency, connected toys. So a very excellent exercise. You might recall that last year, thank you for inviting me once again for this very short closing remarks, I invited you to prepare for Star Wars. And the epic film franchise seemed to epitomize the zeitgeist of privacy in human at the beginning of 2016. This year, I would love you to promise you that you are actually in La La Land. But of course, the world very far from being a romantic landscape. Big moments in our lives are not punctuated with pretty tunes, and few of us have the opportunity to dance in front of a purple sunset seemingly painted by Van Gogh. We are in a very uncertain place. It's easy to forget that last year was a cause for celebration for those of us who have fought and labored hard for modernized rules on data protection in the EU. And we continue to see countries around the world emulating the approach taken by the Council of Europe on the Convention 108 and the EU on both regulation and directive. The courts in the EU and at a national level have continued to uphold and deepen our understanding of the correct application of principles of human rights. And alongside the trends of adopting personal data and privacy laws with effective enforcement bodies, there are counter trends around the world. The construction of enormous databases of personal and very sensitive information, either with too little control over who can access, or with too much control by state actors. And we also seen a reversal in many countries of their protection of human rights and the freedom of civil society to advocate the rights of the weak and the vulnerable. And I predict that connected people around the world will soon begin to understand why we have data minimization, purpose limitation, and now accountability as essential principle of a modern data protection. People will realize that the limitless accumulation of personal data, including the most intimate genetic and biometric data, creates, by using a language sensitive for cross-border burden, a risk of tsunami. We cannot assume that the hands which use the data will use as benign as the hands which collected. And I hope we do this the easy way, not the hard way. Now is the time to think about values and turn them into reality on the grounds. In the EU, all regulators and independent data protection authorities, as well as data controllers, have, if you don't count today, 483 days to become fully ready to enforce it or to comply with the GDPR and the directive on law enforcement. I expect also e-privacy regulation and the regulation about EU bodies to be enforced as well. It means in practice 322 working days, assuming you have the occasional day off. So we are approaching also, now let me have a spot on the DPS, the halfway point of our mandate. So in May this year, Wojciech Wieworowski and I will be relaunching our 5-year strategy. We would like to have a fresh focus on getting the EU institutions ready for this new legal framework. And in collegiality with fellow independent data protection authorities, we will be preparing the new EDPB. Be sure we will be ready at midnight of May 24 next year. And we will take a truly global outlook. To reflect this, we will shortly have a new local website. So if you go to our website now, you will find a short video about it. And I would like to also announce that in the week of 25th September this year in Hong Kong, in cooperation with the Belgian DPA, I saw Willem around, and also, I guess, the United Nations Special Rapporteur for Privacy, we will be hosting a side event, an important conference on prospect for global privacy, with experts from all regions of the world to take stock of where we are and where we should be going. And I hope many of you will be able to contribute. We had this week a lot of discussions about ethics and accountability, but we need to start to internalize the notion of accountability for far more important than box-ticking compliance. And we need to apply these principles to international data flows as well. I'm unable to predict the fate of Privacy Shield and other, important solutions decision, but Privacy Shield is just one potential bridge among many which need to be built in today's global society. Once again, the Cpdp organizers have allowed space for an extraordinary cacophony of problems and trends in technology, in the commercial space and in the government, and the huge number of contributors and partners have been orchestrated into a magnificent symphony of potential solutions. My colleague Wojciech Wieworowski and I took part, he took part on an important panel on populism in politics and what it means for data protection and privacy. And therefore, we have another clear lesson from the events of last year. We have to start speaking perhaps a different and more direct language, not always easy for lawyers. And we have to start thinking about the real impact which current practices is having on ordinary women and children, men, people who have little interest in the details of human rights or data protection law, but who know what it feels like when their rights are infringed. People don't talk about data protection rights. They talk about their freedom to do what they want and to be left alone. And this is perhaps one of the challenges for this year. So to escape La La Land and get our hands dirty with the reality of people trying to navigate the digitized world, which they are expected more and more to inhabit. Today we mark, tomorrow more precisely, the Data Protection Day, the Data Privacy Day, the European Data Protection Day, and we should really try to harmonize the description next year. So again, other potential bridges. But today something more important and solemn is happening. Today is Holocaust Memorial Day. It is a reminder that totalitarianism did not happen overnight. A reminder to all of us how fragile democracy and dignity are. They are fragile because it's easy to weaken one right, and when you weaken one right, you make it even easier to weaken another one, and so on. So we are all assembled here today, and I think we should work together to say human rights first. So let's build other privacy bridges where appropriate. We can make privacy great once again. So here's to the next 10 years of Cpdp. What I can say else, apart from thank you for listening, have a safe journey home.
Thank you, Giovanni. There should be a... Thank you. I've listened well, and I think I got the message that when one practices data protection law, one is exercising democratic logic and honoring the rule of law, and I see the connection with all these rights. I'm very happy. The EDPS has been a very important partner for us, looking on what we've done as a father, and we have always accepted that. It's a very good partner for us, and it's one of the many partners we have, and I want to use this opportunity to thank all the other partners. And then in the meantime, my team should do something about the PowerPoint so I can show some faces, but I don't have it. But talking about the other partners, Brussels has been, it's a controversial city if you judge press reviews in the last years, but I think it's a great city. And the generosity of the privacy and data protection community in Brussels is unbelievable. It's, there is a plurality of views and positions, but these people, while daily functioning with each other, respect each other, talk to each other in a beautiful way. And it's due to this Brussels feel and this Brussels attitude of openness that Cpdp was possible and was able to offer added value to people outside there. And if we look at the graphics and so on, there is a 30% of us coming, mostly coming from the expat community in Belgium, but the 70% other are coming from abroad. So we have a high climate change impact that we should discuss next year. But it's, I think we can say that global discussions are held here. And I don't want to add anything on the beautiful human rights reflection, and I don't want to embarrass this panel. There is something interesting going here. Last year it was Peter Swire against Max Schrems, and today we're in a totally different position, reflecting about very recent changes and not knowing the future. From a perverse perspective, I would call that a cliffhanger and a reason to have you back next year. And, but from, of course, a human perspective, I'm scared to death about what's happening. So this is also scary, and I am happy you appreciated it. This, again, is the global community we're dealing with and the Brussels community. And I insist on these logos every year, all these people. We try to make all the logos as small, and you try to make some of them bigger than they should be, but they're all important for us, and I thank all these partners, and my smile is genuine, and after 3 days, that's something that amazes me. But this is our ambition was to make Brussels relevant, and from that point of view, reach out to all the stakeholders in a global perspective. It's not an academic conference, it's not a tech conference, we're a stakeholder conference, and I keep on repeating that. I think that's our niche, and that should remain our niche. It started with 3 universities thinking about this, and then these 2 others joining, research institutes. These were important first actors. And there's Rocco sitting over there, who is a political scientist and who pushed this idea of a stakeholder conference from the beginning. And I think he won. We are it. It's, we don't do keynotes. There is no difference in in expertise. As today, we have made sure sometimes the panels are too big, but that's because we want to make sure a lot of perspectives are there. If civil society is not always there, we ask a DPA and we try to cook well, and I hope you respect and understand that we can't cook perfect all the time. Only my mother could do that. And so these are not the left, but the other two, Rosamunda van Brakel and Dari Hallinan, are the respectively the managing director and the programming director. They're the two pillars of the conference, and they accept me as a third person. But this is their conference. Rocco should have been there, but he moved then to Oslo and so on. He got out of this Brussels bulb, and I hope he still misses it. But these two are important, and you're going to offer them a beer the day it's not free. But I'm going to go on. I'm going to make this short. This is the programming committee in the more extended version. All these people have contributed to this program, and as I understood, some of you were not unhappy about the program. As I understood, some of you were not. So perhaps, yes. Yeah. So, and the day you're going to tell us it's not good, we're going to be in deep crisis. We don't know what a good program is, but I think to judge the quality of the participation, we are sensing where it should go to. And I want to applaud this audience. You're with 1,000, but the 1,000 that we had some years ago were not as participative as this one. We feel that the intensity of the engagement in the panels is better than ever. And we will work on the Q&A sessions next year. We will have deep discussions with chairs and moderators to honor this audience that is unbelievable. It's not checking the box, clicking the box. This audience is really here to listen. And when there is no Q&A, sometimes it's deliberate when it's too sensitive like today, but I hope you understand. But in a normal setup, we should respect your presence by giving the floor. These are the people that have coordinated the panels and have made sure all the people brought the content at the right moment. And they are been annoying to all those that promised content, but I respect what they did, because it was very important to get these 60 panels and more ready at a certain moment, to do the printing of this booklet and to make the app. So Rafael, Lina, Irena, Gian Claudio, Ramon, and Barry, thank you. I will applaud later on for them, all alone, without them. And this is the people making this logistical thing possible. The many side events are, Irina and Karin are very important to us. And if you, there's an artistic event, there's a movie tonight. I'm going to be at that movie. There's no party, but after the movie there will be some drinks. So if you have, so please join us this evening, and thank Irina for her good taste. And then I think now we can have some applause, because all these people really did it and made sure this worked. Yeah. Carleen, Laura, Els, Laurence, deep respect. Yeah. And so these are a lot of these people were there 10 years ago. We're old, we're perhaps too old, but they function well, they're very critical. And if you know one of them and you don't like us, tell him or her, and we will understand soon, because they're difficult. They're very difficult people. They're independent, they're annoying, but we love them. And the scientific committee is not giving too much of an academic feel to it, but it's supporting this thing, guaranteeing independence, and that's a core value of this conference. We're a non-profit conference. We remain a non-profit conference, but they are our checks and balances. So very powerful team. Better to keep them friendly and to give them a lot of wine. So thank you, scientific committee, for being there. And so this is what's on it this evening. There's a movie, and the art exhibition is still running on. There is a new conference next year, so I'm doing this very in a speedy way. But the true engagement is that we will be there in the next 10 years, because a lot is going to change, and we would like to keep this venue. And we would like to keep this number of people, because this is the maximum we can give decent services, and some of the venues were over attended and so on. So that's the core message. Cpdp is proud of being there. We have done it, and we didn't do it, but the whole of Brussels did it. We think we have found a stable ship, not a Titanic, as I said, as I saw on one of the tweets. This boat will go on with this kind of atmosphere. I hope you appreciate it, and I hope you join me at the drink next door. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.